All right. Hey guys, how we doing? Sup. Before we do anything else, we have to start with this video. I saw the notification a while ago, like an hour ago or something, or maybe an hour and a half. However, I said I was going to save my reaction for stream, so I actually haven't watched it. All I know is it's called The Fate of the Val, and I think that series on the face of the thumbnail. But that's what this teaser is about, and hopefully we get more teasers coming in the next week leading up to the reveal. But let's see, what is teaser number 1?
I desire.
All right, you're looking a bit blurry for some reason. I assume this is a mirror or something.
More than what this mortal flesh could provide me. And so now, my darling, I am yours.
Is this a story of Vatsiri, or PoE 2 is set in the time after PoE 1, if I remember correctly? King's March is there and everything, right? This is reminiscent of the beasts from... Is this Act 5? Could the beasts have gone from the Karui into the Val, into Atsiri's realm, and then somehow, I guess the cataclysm hasn't happened. That was just like a link to... No, that has happened. Atsiri destroyed the current time in Act 3. Then we did some time travel. I think we went to the past to get Doriani, and then brought him to the present where the Val are few, and to continue chasing ways to potentially control the beasts. But as of right now, the beast is still very alive. So I assume this is probably just a teaser for Act 5. That's what this means. Possible it isn't, but I mean, if this is Atsiri and everything, I don't know how Dorian is going to react when we have to face her. Be cool if that's the next boss in PoE 2, but I mean. And then what portal is this? Is this like a portal to the past? To what the fuck is this? There's probably like more to it than just the beasts. The fate of the Val. Like if Act 3 was already so Val centric, I find it hard to believe like Act 5 will also be Val centric. So this might just be the league mechanic. It might just be a case of this is the league mechanic, they're introducing Alva reworked or something. Okay. I mean, we'll react to the league to the reveal next week. I might not be live during the actual reveal, but I'll be reacting to it when I can. Probably later that same day. All right. So here's a bit of an update on the PoB situation, or PoB in. You might notice that this is a very different PoB, and the reason for that is the armor stacker guy. We got it to decent damage, but I just wasn't liking the... I wasn't liking the direction it was going as a build, because we had to drop the... We dropped the AG life stacking portion because it was just inefficient. So we just focused on armor stacking, and that was fine. But there were like some hurdles to go through, like for example, dealing with the flasks and how they won't be used by the AG in any non-single target scenario, or in any single target scenario. They'll be there for like non-single target, but when you need them most, they're not going to be there. and I really don't think I want to play a build that doesn't have mage build of flasks, or doesn't, I can't boost my movement speed with flasks and it doesn't have like some other source of movement speed. So again, that's a me playstyle type problem at that point, where I'm just like, I kind of don't like the direction it's going and I don't see a solution to the lack of movement speed and everything. So I kind of don't want to. And ignore this movement speed modifier here. That's because this is on. You see it's down to 48. And do we have movement speed as a suffix anywhere? No, probably somewhere else. We're getting some movement speed from our brutes. We're getting onslaught and some other things, which is how we get 48. Not the fastest by any means. So I decided that what I really wanted to do, and it's not like I just decided, I've always wanted to do it, was I want to go a life stacker. And the reason I want to go a life stacker is because, well, the truth is Ignite has just never been a thing for minions. And I would very much like make an Ignite minion build at some point. And this might be our only opportunity to, while Fogborn Ratpith is in the game. It gives us so much increased damage that we can try scaling Ratpith and Grey Wind. They give us so much like utility coming from our laugh modifier combined with like Flame Link, that I'm inclined to believe that we can make it work, right? But that is kind of where we're at. Ignore the overpoint. I was just trying to see how much value I could get out of this. 35% effect life cluster. Anyways, I've been fiddling around with this all day, basically. Not all day, but for a large chunk of the day. But yeah, this is where we're at on this particular PoB. Yeah, happily take this over that. Anyways, while we're talking about the life stacker, what are my current thoughts on this PoB? I haven't put in all the pieces, as you might notice. I have my AGL smiting with a 6 link. I'm currently the most efficient way to scale this has been to go on hits, because this build kind of started as a hybrid. I wanted to go ignite as well as hits. That way I can that way I can get the best of both worlds. When I use like non-vast strike skills, hit multiple enemies, the hit will do damage and then the ignite does damage. But seeing the numbers now, it's not as high as I had hoped, which means in order to scale it even further and to the point where I would like, I probably have to engage in things like crit scaling and all these other things, or maybe making a 5 link and stuff like that. But at that point, if I start going into crit scaling, then the ignite is going to just become forgotten. Like, it's not going to exist anymore. And I kind of really want the ignite to, you know, be a thing. So I'm getting to the point where I might just say fuck it and focus on the ignite. Go stuff like Unbound Ailments as support, some Unbound Ailments, Sadism, Swift Affliction, just to make it so the ignite is ticking very quickly. Of course, Proliferation, Ignite Prolif alongside non-val, because I feel like that would just be really good with Claire for an AG build. So stuff like that. But if I were to do that, that means effectively I would have to change some things about my Anime Guardian setup. So what am I hoping to see on this page? I'm hoping to see uniques that can potentially help, or just give me ideas for things I can do to scale my AG's ignite without actually, because I'm thinking stuff like I might switch from Garble the Ephemeral, which is really nice for T17 and whatnot, and it also has some more elemental damage which also scales the ignite, but I might end up switching from something like that to like a Cloak of Flame which has ignite duration, you know. So he can't use jewelry, so we can't get spicy with it. I'm also undecided on... I'm also very undecided on what I want my amulet to be. It's between Unator's Vow, a focus army with T1 life and level of lightning spells, because he counts as a lightning spell, and some suffix, or Covine Ash Amulet, Zov's Hearts, well, Farborn, so Fist Taking Hands as well. Should make me decently durable. So I have to say I'm not too bothered by my durability in game or in PoB, because yeah, we already have like 65k EHP, 25k physics hit pool. What I'm more concerned with, and I think it's the biggest thing, is I'm probably not going to use necromantic ages. I probably want to just keep my block. I want a good amount of block, and I would also like some evasion, so I will probably end up using like evasion flasks, as well as the Grace Spectre and stuff like that, just to make avoidance a very big part of my build. And that way I'm hoping that I don't have to engage with Corruption's Embrace, because that would annoy me, having to use that and corrupt 8 items. Because if you're corrupting 8 items, it means you're going to lose. You can only keep 2 items uncorrupted, which you then have to make a tough choice on which of these rares do you want to keep uncorrupted and all that. And I kind of don't like that. Anyways, besides the point. Actually, is it besides the point? I should do something. Let me actually start off liquidating this character, because I know I've said that I would, and I just haven't thus far. What are the jewels that would actually... Oh, you know, I forgot I had this as a jewel. I'm not going to liquidate it. I'm going to leave it here. But now I know that I have it. Impossible to escape Mind Over Matter. That's fine. Watcher's Eye. Precision is unnecessary. This is like 20D. I actually have a lot of currency on this character that I'm just leaving. So might as well use it. Then where is the Watcher's Eye? Sublime Vision rather. Another like 20 HD. So we can just sell the pair for 40D. Fortress Covenant is also expensive, but I think I would just keep this one for myself. And then nothing else I kind of want to sell. Holy shit, this is almost 100D. What the f... Eh? Interesting. I won't be selling it, but Jesus, that's a lot. I mean, I know why it's expensive. There are a lot of people that would love to have Mind Over Matter, and I got it early in the league, so kind of just works out that way. But holy, that is expensive. That is indeed expensive.
We've made a trade.
What did I sell? Oh, the Witchbane. Alright. $24D.
I'll let you know.
Wait, it's 19, right? Yeah. All right. How much do I have? I have 48 and potentially 80 something if I sell those two. Okay. Cool, cool. Anyways, so if I were to just rebuild this character, this PoB, and I with this sole purpose of going gigas ignites damage, how would I do it? We can use the current, we can't swap weapons because the gray wind I think is probably the best. Without the gray wind, I know there's the other ignite one. I think it's Seventh Sun. Result the Seventh Sun, this one. Replace the melee phase for 100% more ignite damage. I mean, I will let's play around with the idea. I think it's Result the Seventh Sun, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, 100% more replaced with. So let's see, the ignite is currently 2.4. It should be way worse now. 1.9. The ignite actually stayed competitive. The flats went all the way down, but ignite stayed competitive. I guess that's what happens when you just multiply the ignite by 2. Yeah, I guess that's just what happened. It has 1,000%, 1,396% more, and all this increased. But now it has no flats, or it has way less flats. So if I were to the Swift Affliction, can we replace minion damage? Okay. But yeah, I kind of expect expected it. Is there any way I can compensate the flat damage from the gray wind with the Seventh Sun? Anyways, it was a cool idea, I guess. Not really. All right. Anyways, is there any other thing, anything here that's also cool in terms of ignites? All damage can't ignite. It would be nice if I could get this on the AG. Can't. It's a belt, so can't do that. Chaos damage can ignite. So in theory, I can get it 3 dragons that replaces fire damage can shock with chaos damage can shock. So if I can get my AG at that point to deal a whole lot of chaos and fire damage, his ignite damage overall should be very, very spicy. It would have to be double though, so chaos damage can ignite as well as chaos damage can shock. What up, Super Pants? How you doing? So make chaos damage shockable, make chaos damage ignitable. Go for the gray wind for a lot of flat fire. Use a mix of giga scale flat fizz so that we can then take advantage of fizz as extra fire and fizz as extra chaos. Fizz as extra fire can come from, or chaos can come from, where are you at? This one, Lycia. Chaotic Might is fizz as extra chaos. And we can also get Unholy Might to convert all the fizz to chaos. So now you're going, he's the AG that you just super packed with all this flat fizz would be doing a lot of flat chaos and igniting and shocking, of course. And because it's gray wind, there'll also be a lot of flat fire which can be used for fire damage, which can be used for ignites as well. So the fire and chaos would then merge and give you a big ignites. But that being said, even with all of this, I don't see the reason why I would want to do that. I don't see like any big multipliers that all of a sudden would make ignites insane, you know? What if I just went 100% flask uptime, went for Sainture belt, went the full package with the timeless stroll and impossible escape, and then I really just took my time going through all these ignite flasks to see if there's something I can use to really pump up my damage. So far, not been impressed though. Yeah, I'm really not seeing that thing that that really makes me want to. Oh. Hmm. Like I heard something. I definitely heard something there. Anyways, not like it matters too much. It's either a sale or it's these guys locking. Oh, they unlocked. Okay, that's what happened there. I guess there's also the universe where I give them crits. Looking at my setup, I have a main hand weapon whose main job is making my AG a smiting tank here because increased damage is very inefficient right now. And then offhand whose job is currently provide a lot of increased. I would like to keep the AG's offhand the same while my offhand can switch. I want to have block, so I'm leaning away from giving them my what do you call it? I'm leaning away from giving them my shield. Without block, this the solution of the flesh feels very awkward. Would rather not. Would really rather not without block. So if I would rather not without block, that means I want to keep my shield. If I want to keep my shield, I have to figure out the way to, well, not figure out the way, I need to just give myself a shit ton of life, like with a titanium shield. Life goes to from 17k to 18.8k. Damage, not much better. So I guess to be fair, let me redo the math. 18,834 times 0.12 is 2260. So that makes Grey Wind 2260 and 2260. So it's more damage, but as you can tell, it's not that much more. It's not that impressive. In terms of calculations, we have so much increase that it's just, we don't need more increase. We need more attack speed. We need more, like, we need more hits per second. We need more damage multis. You could say that as well. We need more increased damage taken by the enemy, but we don't need more raw increase. We don't need that. Are there any good auras I could provide via my specters? Off the top of my head, no. There really aren't. There is no anger aura. There is no Pulvine Ash Spectre. There's Frenzy Charge, there's Power Charge. We'll probably end up using the Frenzy. Maybe not Power, maybe Power. Even throwing a Warlord for Endurance Charge. By going Endurance Charge, at the very least, my AG becomes tankier, which I 100% want. I would like him to be as tanky as possible so he doesn't have the chance to die. Honestly, this is the biggest reason why I want to get rid of minion damage, but besides the point. The biggest limiting factor in this whole situation with just the AG being my DPS is the simple fact that the AG is the DPS. So instead of like other minion builds where if you got numbers like these on a per minion basis, you'd be doing very good. The reason it's not impressive here is because AG is just the one guy. So regardless of where you get it to, yes, you deal with just one minion hitting, and that one minion maybe being supported and everything, but it being one minion at the end of the day. There's just really nothing. There's just really nothing. Oh, this is a tincture. Yeah, this wouldn't even work for what I want to do. This is a shield, right? Oh, jeez. Yeah, I really don't see the universe where Ignites ends up being insane. Maybe that's partly due to the simple fact that I'm not running the things I would typically use to scale Ignites. I'm not using Malevolence, which is a big source. Not using Unbound Ailments. Not using many of the typical things that would extend that time and then pair it to Citizen because the minion build. And you would like to make it do damage way faster. Is it elemental damage gained as chaos? I wonder. I think it's a flask, right? No, that's cold. The winds of fate. Is there anything here we can use for AG? A wand? No. I use a wand. Not for AG, so let's look for something else. This is a war stuff. So already AGs can't use siphoning charge, so that's a rip. So that eliminates that guy. %8 of non-early damage as extra chaos. Or non-chaos damage as extra chaos. I feel like damage gain doesn't affect ignites, right? I'm almost sure it doesn't, but I need to confirm. Let's confirm real quick. Damage. Gained as extra. Wait, what? Damage can be chain converted through multiple damage types since the damage types are looped for forward order. Yes. Gain as extra is calculated on the source damage before it gets converted away by converted to, and thus it is not affected by it. Since the calculation is by source order, mods such as gain % of non-chaos as extra chaos can apply multiple times to the same damage as it is converted through different damage types. So if I convert phase to cold, and then I use cold to fire support, and then I give my AG gain early as extra chaos, and then, like, you know, the flask, all that base damage before it was converted to cold would have 8% gain as extra to it. Then the 8% that is cold will get gained as chaos, and then the 50% that gets converted from cold to fire, 8% of that will also go to chaos. That seems a bit, I mean, there's reason damage shifting is so strong, but that seems a lot. That seems like a lot. Doesn't tell me what I want to know though. I guess more so it might be in the ignite page than here. In the ignite page, should we see if gain as extra goes into the calculation of ignites? Ignites inflicted by originating from non-fire damage will include modifiers to those types. Similar to converted damage, for example, if it ignites with 100% phase to cold, like Ice Crash will include global increase and more damage modifiers for phase, cold, and fire. That makes sense. The fire is applying to the ignite itself because it's increased fire. The cold is because it was cold, and phase because it was phase. So that makes sense. We can't give our AG all damage and ignite, but we can give our AG chaos damage can ignite. There really isn't any way to abuse this, I think, that I'm aware of, at least, because even the giga increased damage we are giving my AG, it's increased dot damage over time, so it will apply once to the ignite, to my knowledge, regardless of if it's fire, chaos. It applies once. If it was increased chaos, then we could say, okay, the ignite, the chaos portion gets increased chaos and then becomes fire, and then the ignite itself will take my increased fire modifiers and do stuff like that. But there's fire damage converted to chaos damage as well. I guess we can just pair. We can still use the same giga flat fire we're doing, but then use the helm to make it so chaos damage can ignite. But then why would we want to convert some fire damage to chaos damage? Does ignite... Will ignite from chaos damage interact with wither? I think it will. I'm pretty sure it will. Oh, I didn't know this. That's kind of cool. I know there was a flee after you get ignited for some monster types. Anyways, besides the point. Maybe Shaper of Flames will have more information about this. Okay, this this is kind of what I'm looking for, but it's also kind of not. What? Because like what wither does is it makes it so sources of it makes it so the enemy takes increased chaos damage, right? If the enemy is taking increased chaos damage, the I feel like it doesn't actually, because it does, the hit doesn't matter, the size of the hit doesn't matter, which means when the entity hits, let's see, PoE does chaos ignite kill with wither. It will work for Black Flame because they're taking chaos damage. I'm not really looking for Black Flame. Dots can't be converted, so that's already a misconception. 07 Arcane, done with work. Congrats, the day is over now. Now you just need to get some rest. On the bright side, there shouldn't be traffic at this time. Increase fire, burn, fire, the multi-key, also ignite damage to... But this is assuming it's the chaos version, right? So this is not really what I'm looking for. Not looking for withered. I'm also not really looking for Black Flame. Looking for chaos damage can ignite, which is on Volker, but like also A for effort, AI. A for effort. It's definitely kind of confusing. I'll give it that. But my understanding is Wither should do nothing for this because the chaos damage that's going into the hits will just trigger the fire damage over time anyways, like Ignite always is. However, there is no the damage over time you experience or the ignite never actually meets the wither to then get scaled by wither effect or wither anything, because it does fire damage. So fire exposure, all of that good. Wither will probably not do anything. Talking about black flame, not black flame, I was looking at some gimmicky stuff. Basically, the Tree Dragons has Farborn versions that allow chaos damage to ignite, right? So, and then chaos damage can shock. So what I was thinking is have an AG where I'm life stacking, so I'm getting a bunch of flat fire. Then on top of having flat fire, I have, what do you call it? I have a lot of flat fire. I have a lot of flat fizz, skill flat fizz. Convert all that flat fizz to I don't know. I think I said I was going to convert it to chaos. Actually, convert all that flat fizz to chaos with unholy might. So now I'm doing fire and chaos. Both of these damage types can ignite because fire is fire and chaos has the, he will have this. So now we have chaos, we have the physical damage converted to chaos, and we have the fire damage coming from the weapon. So two different big sources of flat damage that can both ignite. Then, because I have big flats, I can then pair it with an add series with an add series flask. Add series promise, I think is the name, that gives 8% fizz as extra chaos. And because we're scaling, we got a lot of flat fizz, the gain as extra should give me a decent amount of extra chaos damage, assuming gain as extra actually works for ignites, which again, I'm not 100% sure, but I think it does. I think it does, not 100%. Then gain elemental as extra chaos means the flat fire also goes into like chaos again to again scale that potential ignites. It's all just me trying to, what's the word I'm looking for here? It's just a quirky mechanic I'm trying to figure out how it would actually interact with. It's not necessarily something I'm going to build around. I want to make an ignite build, and I'm just trying to see all the pieces I have available before actually going in, because like I have a PoB that I scaled initially for a hybrid hit ignite, but as I scaled further, the damage didn't look that impressive. So I quickly realized that this meant that I would have to actually either pick either the hit or the ignite, and the hit just seemed boring to me to pick, because I mean there's easy ways to scale the hits. You can go crits, that would be the easiest way. Get a lot of crit scaling, pick up the crit wheel, spirit offering, brittle, graft, basically just scale crit essentially, and that would give me big multipliers to my life stacking and give me healthy damage. But I think this is the one opportunity we have this league to actually get ignites going with Farborn Rapid. So I would like to get it. I would like to use it in some capacity. And if I'm going to use it, that means I'm going to life stack, which means Grey Wind is a no-brainer, which is a lot of flat life. I also considered the Seventh Sun, Result the Seventh Sun, but the 100% more ignite damage just doesn't compare to the flat damage you get from the life stacking one. The reason I say it doesn't compare is because, I mean, this is 100% more ignite damage, and the ignite damage actually does compete with the Grey Wind. The difference is the Grey Wind just has more hit damage, but similar ignite damage all the same. So why would you go for something like this when you could just go for the hit, something that has more damage, like same ignites, more hit damage, you know? So the big difference though, I guess, is the chance to ignite. I can easily get 40% chance to ignite on the tree if this gives me an extra 25%, and that's 65%, and I just need to get 45%, which is just 3 ghastly eye jewels, give or take. 3 perfect ghastlies would give me 45%. Yeah, actually. That caps the ignite chance paired with Amanamu's gaze for fire for dot multi. And I guess there's a universe where if I can convert, if I use a weapon like this, get all the phase damage, convert to ignite, and then use a 3 dragons, I can maybe give my AG ignites and poison as both damage types can be unlocked with, you know, chaos damage. And then I try to scale his chaos as much as possible by giving him a lot of flat phase and flat chaos. Then the ignite portion would, the problem is they kind of don't scale the same. With ignites, you want to reduce the duration of ignites so he can apply it more frequently and have that one do damage faster. Poison is the opposite. You want the poison to last longer, so it does more damage in its lifetime because it stacks infinitely. So that is going to be the problem with trying to pair ignite and poison together. You use swift affliction, you get more ignite damage, you get less poison damage. You use unbound ailments, you get less ignite damage, you get more poison damage. You really can't win when it comes to scaling these two together. So I think the better option would be scaling hits and ignite, or just ignite in general. But so far, looking at ignite, I just haven't been impressed by the numbers I've seen. So it makes me think, what is something I could potentially throw on my AG in some capacity that minions would have access to that maybe a typical ignite build doesn't. That would be a very big ignite damage multiplier, and I can't think of an answer. What would be the answer to that? We can't convert minion fire damage to chaos. Don't worry, we're theory crafting here. We're theory crafting. Headhunter helmets. I'm never. Let me see. PoE damage gained as effect ignites, or just ailments. I mean, added fire skills ignites. I'm more thinking physical damage gained as you can see it with extra lightning for shocks. Like the damage is physical phase as extra lightning affecting, giving you shocks. I think it should. So I mean, with Headhunter Helm will give you damages extra from rare monsters, I guess. But the reality of the situation, if it works for the ailments, then Headhunter has some good mods for it then, because I know there's 50% damage as extra fire, but there's also Ellie as extra chaos as monster modifiers, if I remember correctly. This is Fizz as extra fire. Another thing with Headhunter I just remembered is you have to be base Fizz. Extra chaos. 50% of non-chaos is extra chaos. Shroudwalker is log out for each. I mean, there's multiple things we can do for Shroudwalker. We can just unsummon him, and that would do it. We can't unsummon him if he's linked, sure, but worst case scenario, we just leave our map and come back. I can imagine. I mean, mercs are very similar to AG, except AG is worse because he doesn't have skills and he can't use jewelry. If I could use jewelry, then we could have gone Didian Dawn for all damage can ignite on the AG and, you know, gone from there. The Merc Headhunter experience, it's possible. Speaking of Headhunter Helm, is there a universe where I make a Headhunter Spectre build instead? I did want to make this earlier on as my main build of the league. It would have to be a base phase minion, and it would have to be something that has really good coverage. Hydras would be good for it. The other phase melee specters, I wouldn't use melee specters for this. Hydras would be decent for it. The problem with it, I guess, has always just been, or not always just been, but this league, it is convert is much better than gain as extra. Hydras would be insane with extra proj mod. How would they be with extra proj? They'd be okay. The barrage would do a lot more damage, so that would be good single targets. But other than that, because I was thinking if I'm going to go for a Headhunter minion build, it would only be the necessary minions, absolute necessary, as well as an AG, or vice versa, AG with support specters. But we can't have too many minions plug-in a pool, so we actually, we might want to farm strats that want rare monsters. Like, I think Skirabs will want a lot of rare monsters, so those kind of strats would be good as well. I'd basically want a phase specter. I'd basically want a phase specter that can turn into a raid boss. What phase specters would I say can turn into a raid boss? Realistically, if I'm being very honest with you, the specters that I would have loved to see as Headhunter is something like a tornado shot specter, but there is no good tornado shot specter. All the tornado shot specters are kind of ass when it comes to AI, so it's just not even a possibility. So with the lack of that, we have to figure out someone else. I remember I had a list I made before league starts for potential candidates. Let me see if I can remember it, or if I can find it. I remember the one that I was considering above all else, which was this guy. But I also have PoE or dominated. I'm just PoE. Crustacean sniper. These guys from, I think Act 6 is where you get these ones. The reason why these ones are good is I'll open a new one for this. I mean, expecting PoB to show me the Spectre like it actually cares. Alright, Crustacean Sniper. The reason it's good is it comes with a baseline 50% physics extra cold, which is still a very healthy amount of damage. 50% physics extra cold. Then, of course, Headhunter can stack on top of this. So it has physics extra cold, but not only does it have physics extra cold, it also has base phase converted to cold, if I remember correctly. There was also one that had, I think, 100%. There were two I was considering. I just don't remember the second name. I didn't write it down. Why did I write it down? But in any case, these guys, if they have enough attack speed, which, I mean, they have a slight mortar to their projectiles, but I don't fully like how close they have to get before they actually throw the projectile is the biggest no for them, at least. Let's keep it high quality, please. The good thing as well is the projectile as well as the mortar does damage. So the projectile wouldn't shotgun, but the mortar would. But the mortar also has a tiny AoE, so I wouldn't be counting on it for that either. By the way, look at the banner days. The glory days of banner that we didn't know we had. Anyways. But yeah, they have that. A lot of physics extra code and base code. They scale well, but there was one more person. One more minion. I just don't remember who they are again. Is attack specters. I feel like if I see the name I probably remember. Let's just start from the bottom and look through. Didn't I think about these at some point? This was during the league I thought about these, where they have 100% convert baseline for they have 100% convert baseline on, I don't know if it's one of their skills or all of them. On one of them, the hardcore killer or the hardcore player killer, it also has giga more AD. So flat phase is very efficient on them with this one, and this is triggered by their Rain of Arrows, I think. Let's do 80. You'd still need to use a 4 green triad script for them, because most of the attacks do not benefit from 100% convert. They have good base damage, and whenever this occurs, which is it's not the Rain of Arrows actually. I think it's the snipe. I think it's the snipe that triggers this one, if I remember correctly. We'll see. Keep the quality high, please. That's the basic attack. Then that's the snipe, and then there'll be the explosion afterwards. For big AoE. Why does he have meat sacks? It doesn't look like this snipe. Actually, on second thought, the snipe might benefit from return proj. He went backwards. I think he left more objects when he went backwards. That's it going forward. I didn't say go back this time around. Yeah, I didn't say go back this time around. Oh, there. That's a prime example, I think. That's the snipe going forward and it coming back. It has an explosion going here and one, and then these ones are from when he came back. So double the explosions. So I guess these are also a contender, but what don't I like about them? Most of the attacks have less AD to it, so the opposite of this one. This one does big damage and will probably be very good for single targets. I guess if you just equip them for wave clear, it probably doesn't matter too much. They don't spend... we have CDR mastery now. So we can get them to use their explosions more frequently. We can make them use their explosions more frequently, and we can clear reliably well with them. With all the phasers extra we're bound to get, as well as the base convert, will they have the damage required? This basically does the same damage their hits do, except it has a big more AD on it, as well as full convert. The full convert doesn't matter because we're going to full convert anyways. But the more AD does matter, in fact. How are they survivability wise? They're not bad, actually. They aren't bad, actually. 65k life at level 80. So if I were to make a build out of them, it would be 5 specters or 6. I could get as high as 6, but I wouldn't want to dilute the mod pool for Headhunter that much, I think. So what would I do? It would be an adorned setup with a lot of flat fizz, because some of the abilities heal really well, and they have some they actually have decent base damage, even if they don't shotgun. Let me see something. I'm curious about something, so I want to see if they are on PoB, and if they are, they aren't on PoB. Okay, so it's going to be one of those setups where I would have to make a build without actually seeing DPS numbers, and I'm kind of tired of making setups like that. Well, it's fine. Let's see. I mean, with Headhunter, you can't tell what the DPS while your clan is going to be. Anyways, the question would be if they will have single targets. And again, this is going to be another case of there's 6 of them or 5 of them. In the absolute worst case scenario, you don't have any Headhunter buffs, whatever. Can you actually get their damage to the point where, you know, it's good? That is going to be a good question. And realistically, I would love if this character could have been using my what's it called? Oh god, I can't think. My champion, because he already has an AG suitable for them with cold damage innately and explode and all the other things, and he's made to have like other minions and everything. Like this would actually be the ideal character, except I don't know if I would want to do it as a champion. I'd probably want to do it as a witch or a chieftain, because we just spoke about flat phase. With the flat phase requirements, this Dark Monarch variant would honestly be a shoo-in for a suitable setup for them. The only difference is we drop a lot of I guess we could do that. We could just switch Dark Monarch for Hallowed Monarch, take the Spectre number cut. This is actually made with all the flat phase you would want to have, and go Hallowed Monarch, try to fit in. I think we're going to have, we already have a +1 Spectre chest even, so yeah, we'd have 3 Spectres, 1 from the tree 4, 1 from the chest 5. We'd have 5 Spectres and an AG 6. They'd all be Hallowed Monarch. I think it's worth trying. I don't lose anything by trying it. It doesn't take too much effort as well. Literally just plug and play with my current setup. Only difference is switching Dark Monarch with Hallowed Monarch, and Hallowed Monarch doesn't have minion levels, but that is fine. It already converts to cold. It does everything that it should. And the only thing I would want a link mastery for is just link duration. I don't even need to replace the Chaos Res, to be honest, because if I replace the Chaos Res, it would just be for my minions, and they're kind of fine. I think I'm down to try, and I think at first I'm good with trying Syndicate operatives to see how it compares to the actual Syndicate operative setup. I'd have to create a space for like these 4 points though. That's like the only thing, and considering I don't even have my Adorn set up to begin with, that might just mean I drop an entire cluster for it, which is unideal, but I guess it's fine. That's 8 points I would save. Actually, just drop here, so 5 points. I only lose one jewel, and I then have 5 points to play around with. And because it's 5 points, I get very close to the a level 98 character. I guess in this case it's 99, but yeah. I think let's try it. What's the worst that can happen? We still have time on today's stream, so we'll try it and see if I absolutely detest it. So we're going to be using a Hydra. But that's nasty. But, anyways. What are the things I need to transfer to my... I need to transfer those to this, you, You. Is there anything else that needs to be transferred? It wouldn't be a minions or aggressive wand. I wasn't using any of these anyways. Is there any jewels that I was supposed to use that I switched? No, I don't think so. Nope. Okay. I think that's all. And honestly, even if it isn't, we can always come back to get it. And then this one is my ruby flask. But just in case, I'll turn this off. Turn this off. Something is meant to be in here. Purity of fire. I think that's it. I can't think of a single other thing I needed. Yeah, okay. What can my link skill replace on this setup? It needs a lot of mana regen. And I'm not about to recraft my rings. And I can't use something like life tap. I'd have to get new rings for it. Is the problem. I'd have to get new stuff for it, new rings. What can I get for it? I guess I could always get a bone ring. I think bone ring should be on the cheaper side. It's 10D for the base, crafted with mana regen into chaos res fire. I mean, I think we can skip on the chaos res is what that means. We skip on the chaos res, which makes them squishier in its own right. Where would I get the gem sockets from? I can remove it from here. Just leave Ray Spectre, Feeding Frenzy, then go link Flame Link and the other one. Is my internet acting up? Yeah. All right, we're back. Or at least it says I'm back. What was I about to say? I was going to say that, I mean, I have been very vocal about the fact that Spectres just, in my opinion, are the best part of the game for minions. They provide the most options when it comes to he provides the most options when it comes to minions in general. Let me get a new ring. Let me get one. But other than the fact that I played it with so many specters, it's just, if you're not playing specters, then you're playing one of the other minions that have already been here for a while. And I mean, wait. Hallowed Monarch has a very big minion defensive. It has a lot of minion defense. I shouldn't care about the chaos res. They just wouldn't be killable because of the helmet. So yeah, we should honestly. This is a 39, so 38 for 11, 39, or 20 for 20 for 42. I'll go 38 for 11. Screw it. So what is the goal here? It is to get fire res, open suffix, and ES. But the reason we switch is because we want to craft it with mana regen essence. So I'm going to spam it until fire res.
I'll let you know.
I don't even need the fire res, is the funny thing. Actually, I do if I'm going to click all blue altars. Essence, mana, regen. $144. No, 154.
I'll put the word out.
All right. If this works, then I guess we'll see how it feels comparatively. I want to have this in a spot where I can go back and forth without friction, just in case I like it or I don't like it or whatever else. Which means this guy needs to go somewhere else. This one I can despawn whenever. You are going to be the biggest problem here, but you are here. We'll start off without an AG and see if it's actually feels good to clear with. What am I looking for here? I'm looking for fire res. Here we do re. But this is good. So now all we need to do is multi-mod Actually, I'm going to need to annul a prefix. Otherwise, I can't protect suffixes. And multi-mod is not optional here, so I guess I craft a suffix. Annul. Not like it matters. Realistically, if I really wanted to protect this, it doesn't matter. Okay.
We'll make it happen.
Speaking of, I should just honestly have this here. I don't know for a fact that this will fix my mana regen for links, because links are fucking expensive. Oh my god, I'm trolling. Any early res is fine. I just remembered. Jesus, that is a waste of currency. I was like, res has never felt this rare before. What the fuck? Then I clocked. Like, I can always harvest reforge to change from one to the other. I guess this also isn't an 84 base, so it can't get T1. Okay, now it's...
I'll put the word out.
Now it's really been unlucky. Oh my lord. That's why. Again. Yeah. Not me trolling so much currency. Okay. Cool. Wild Bristle into Reforged defense. Call it a day.
Prove to the first ones you are worthy, Exile. The ritual is complete.
Don't tell me I'm going to get 8 ES again.
Prove to the first ones you are worthy, Exile. The ritual is complete.
Blessings.
Hey, this is a nice settle. I'm fine with it. Lol. I meant to do this, and then this. How much mana regen do I have now? 97. That should be enough for one link. It's funny how my level 100 character is now just my Spectre bank. Okay, cool. Surely this, I'm going to do something with 2 turtles, right? At some point. Create a turtle build, giga skill haste. All right. Now we've removed. Well, these guys need to go. Just on the off chance everybody here is asked, right? Host chieftain, yeah, okay. Okay. Now let's get a hallowed monarch, shall we? In this hallowed monarch, what are we going to do? Oh, this comes with res? I don't even know.
Gold in, gold out.
For now, I'm going to just make it so my link skill lasts a while. So that would be flame link. Actually, flame link would be us here. Let's go, I guess, intuitive link. No, that'd be us as well. I'll just go flame link. I just need a link. I don't need to trigger anything. You can't trigger war cries anyways. So it just needs to be a link and more duration with efficacy.
Slayer, good day.
Flame link. More duration. Efficacy. And I'll just keep it at Spectres. Oh wait, I could do inspiration as well. I only need 1 blue. Because I believe inspiration is... Oh. My internet.
Hail, God Slayer.
Inspiration. I could also go enlighten, I guess, technically, alongside inspiration. So it's something I could do, I guess. But in any case, we'll just keep this as is alongside our ring. Hydra is still there. All my syndicate operatives are still there. No, I can't sustain the costs. How can I help lighten the load? Switching my amulet to cost ES, the new whatever that amulet is called, Whispers of Infinity, instantly solves any mana problems I would have. I could drop efficacy for Enlighten as well. That works. Yeah, that works. Okay. Then do we have refund points? Yes, we do. Where are my spare points again? 1, 2. Take a point from there because sure. Take a point from there as well. Let me look at my res and make sure we're fine. Yes, we are. And sure. We aren't limited to specters anymore, but we might as well. This is gonna be my first time using Hallowed Monarch, so ooh. Why are you thinking that hard, Mr. 6 Chaos? Why is my mana regen slowing down? There are a few things I'm not understanding. First things first, I don't need to level you up actually. But like it feels like my mana regen is slowing down as I level up my gems. It's not really making the most sense to me. I know war cries are the reason it's taking like massive leaps to the bottom, but like it was fine in the hideouts. Does this map have anything that affects my curse auras or anything like that? Nothing I can see, and I am leveling up my inspiration, so in theory it should be cheaper.
I cannot do this yet.
Maybe I was missing one of my
Let's get it done.
links. Surely I just destroyed this. What is happening? If you notice, there's like a burst of mana I end up getting here and there, and I'm not fully on. I don't know why. I mean, I get that burst. It could be because a link falls, but like their links fell, so I filled up. That is fine. But like here,
No, not here. Not now.
maybe I should use a mana flask.
Get them off me.
My mana is gone.
I almost have it. Regenerating. It's done. Get out of here.
One of them has haste aura, and they're actually starting to get modifiers, which is nice.
You did it. Ready?
Does inspiration get more manageable when it comes to mana cost, or is there no point in leveling it unless you want damage? You know, I forgot my minion had gotten DD. Oh god. This is the life of the Hallowed Monarch user. They get DD and you stop hearing anything. One of them has Solita, one of them has Invon as a mod. Oh, okay, let's not die.
My mana is gone.
Wait. Flame Link counts as a buff? You know, I didn't know that, actually. But that is really good to know. Okay. Now I have a rough idea of an opinion of what I would think for a Hallowed Monarch build. I think there's potential if you build around it and you don't have to deal with the annoying mana situation that I have. But it also just goes to show, if you're going for any build that has links, you really want to take care of that cost per second. Like, you really want to. In terms of overall performance, it's like I suspected though. It's very, very hard for you to, what's what I'm looking for, compete with more specters. We expected that. We genuinely did. So it's not a surprise. It's just, it's hard to compete with more specters. You can't go from 10 specters to 5 specters and expect the same results. And by all accounts, Hallowed Monarch is just inferior, realistically. I mean, we knew this already, but it is inferior. But I also don't think I've given it a test worthy of like forming final. I don't think the test I've given it is enough for me to like say definitively that, oh, this is just not what I want, and yada. Like, there's room for inspirations. Less mana cost is also going up, so it doesn't matter. Enlighten more duration on this. Let's look at that mana sustain, by the way. Why was it slower than this in the map? I don't have offering on to that would eat my mana and make it a lot more awkward. I don't have that, right? I just realized something. I think. Yeah, I'm missing this guy. I'm going to do it now before I forget, because I know I will forget. This is what my other character should have. But yeah, I don't think I I don't think I did enough justice to solve the mana situation and all of that for me to genuinely say, oh yeah, I don't like Hallowed Monarch, I think it's ass or anything. But I do know on paper it's not great. On paper it's far from great, and yeah, it's fine. It has its awkwardness to it. Aside the fact that you have less specters and you have less specters, you have less, you have to work around your mana regen a whole lot more and whatnot. Aside this, you're constantly playing a separate, I guess, mini game, if you will, of what is happening with my mana. At least for me, it's a limitation of not fully respecting and going full mana regen on both rings and all of that. I'm not about to do that. And then aside all that, you still have the downside of having to wait for a bit while you're in your maps for your actual damage to ramp, as you get like actual buffs and whatnot. It also just encourages you to go for a it encourages less minions. So if you can get a build where less is more, you can actually profit a lot, I guess, from Hallowed Monarch. But the only builds I can think of where less is more is like AG. AG can have a similar mechanic where it's like, okay, you have less minions, but you're able to get more power out of it. Like if you go for an AG with one of the Beast Spectre Ascendancy things, you only have 2 minions, but out of those 2 you can pull a lot of power, especially if you go crit AG. And you can still go like brittle on your, you know, on your graft. And because you have brittle on your graft, you can very easily skill crit. One of those beasts can give you crit chance and whatnot. So I guess you have to get used to Corpse Explode. Ooh, thank you very much. You have to get used to Corpse Explode all day, every day, which will 100% get annoying to deal with. Is there any way I can cheese my mana regen without actually like changing the ring? I could go for a mana catalyst, buff my mana regen a bit more, but at the end of the day, how long does this last, by the way? 14 seconds. One thing I never knew about link skills was that as the person casting the link skill, it's considered a buff. So every link skill I've gotten to 20-second actually is like 26-second uptime because I typically like going warp. Which actually is pretty nice just to know.
I cannot do this yet.
Okay, now I shouldn't have to worry about mana regen because I have a shrine that should solve it. It's kind of funny seeing that I now have 8k ES. Oh, I have a discipline aura and a phase. Basically all the auras that are here. There's discipline and there's ES aura. Kind of cool. It's also just a bit less, I want to say a bit less dopamine. It's a bit less dopamine when you have this many because you can't see the effect, or you can hear the effects, but you can't see it quite as much as if there were fewer minions that had more mods. But yeah, I think that about concludes my thoughts on. That concludes my thoughts, I think. I also lost a bunch of defense on this setup, if I'm being honest. Like I saw 8k ES and I was like, oh, that's pretty close to what I'm typically on. Then I remembered I lost a lot of defense, losing 5 specters, so there's that. It's a good thing I haven't died though. And if I had to use offerings, my mana wouldn't take it at all. Whenever I get into my map, this is just not regenerating as fast, and I don't fully understand why. What exactly is happening in my maps where I just have less mana regen? Ooh. Oh, we're about to get mana donuts. Nice.
Retreat, Hiveborn!
Sometimes I forget that's actually rare. The delirium modifiers are also rare mods.
We can win this!
Ooh, thank you very much. Ow, I thought those were mine. It would also be nice if they differentiated visually, but yeah. I don't like anything that makes dangerous effects potentially friendly. I didn't like it about frozen mandibles in PoE 2, and I still don't like it about Hallowed Monarch in PoE 1. If I touch, reduce recovery rate of mana. That's it for this map. That's all, folks. Ooh. I was about to say how much more skill ups does this map have. Then I remember the T16. So that's a containment and an invigoration. Jesus Christ, man. I think this is my last map with it. I think this is my last map with it. Holy, what the fuck is this noise? Oh, has the DD finally expired? We've gotten ES aura. We will have execution now on one of them. It's kind of cool. Do I not see the... I don't see the actual ES aura. Why don't I see it? $4,000 ES recharge per second, AK max ES. I don't see it, but it's there. One of them probably... Oh, it actually is a shrine. Never mind. It was a shrine that I was seeing. All right. Safe to say, I just prefer Dark Monarch. And yeah, I just prefer Dark Monarch. That's all there is to it. Would I make a dedicated build for Hallowed Monarch now that I've tried it? Probably not. Probably not. Trees back to normal. I do need to adjust my minion count and get back my turtle. I need to get my turtle. He's the last guy here. I need to switch my turtle back and get my resummon a whole shifting, I think. All right, let's do this, shall we? Perfect Hydra, perfect Spirit of Fortune, one turtle. There's nothing on the floor other than the turtle, and I think so. So now we're going to exit to character selection. Now I need to find my, yeah, this is it. Okay, so I have my turtle again. What else do I need? So that's turtle. I need to get my whole shifting back, and to do that, honestly, I just want to destroy the redshift filers on the ground. So just going to do that, clear the ground, and then desecrate. Get one whole shifting. Remove desecrates. Switch to the actual main DPS one. Desecrates. Pick up 3 syndicate operatives.
My mana is gone.
Remove desecrates. That should remove anything on the ground. Let's just make sure there's really only defilers on the ground here. Okay. Next up, we take this off. We take desecrate off. And now we're going to take this off. I'm going to put things back in order. I'm also going to take this off. So in order, syndicate operatives take priority. So if anything happens, they can, you know, they can volunteer themselves as tributes. Syndicate operative 6, 7, turtle, Hydra, who's shifting. Okay, so then the supports come, so Hydra comes next. Technically, who's shifting comes next, but that's being nitpicky. We'll take the Hydra, then we'll switch, take the whole shifting, and then take the turtle. And that's it. Now they are ordered in an ideal order, so I no longer have to worry about losing minions if I do some dumb, which I'm not I'm not immune to, I guess. Like I can do some dumb shit too. So foolproof my minion setup. Holy shit. This is a map I should have come here without Hallowed Monarch.
You have experienced no pain. That will soon change.
You know the funny thing about me buying Toxic Sewers? I bought Toxic Sewers so I could use it on my Crawler champion, and then I just didn't. I ended up PoBing so long that I forgot I had them, and now I'm back on the build that doesn't want Toxic Sewers. I thought it was an Exalt. This would have felt so nice on the Crawler champion though. Like exploding multiple screens always feels good. When enemies are this packed together at least. Do I have a trade link for Dust? Yes, I do. You want it? All right, give me a second and I'm gonna check my trade. I think I can do it during this Elite encounter.
Return to your barren
Do I have
world.
trade open? Yeah, I do. Should I send on Discord? Sure, why not? There you go.
I've almost got it.
I could also send in chat in case anybody else wants it.
For the dreamer.
Throw it on YouTube as well. Okay. So I guess when the Marauder said go to Hinekora, he was talking about himself. Because all I heard was go to Hinekora and then lots of explosions and then dead. The fuck is that? What is this jewel? I feel like I've dropped this jewel before. It's not a golden rule. Oh. Why did a tier 2 toxic sewer show up on my filter? I have zero idea why it showed up on my filter. But it's one of those things where I should probably figure out why it showed up on my filter. So let's see. Where's filter blade? There. You sure as hell shouldn't have that sound either. At least tier 16. All right, Johan, what do you have for me? We have 2 days left in the treasury, so we're going to have to play a fair amount of this game soon to get gold. But other than that, we're chilling. We're on track to actually get a 50 mil shipment soon. This is going to hit 520k in a day to 2 days. So I'll soon have a full 50 mil shipment. Then what are my plans? PoE2 reveal is next weekend. Is next week. I don't think I'm going to be live for the PoE2 reveal, sadly. I think I'll actually be at work. But I do think I am going to be I'm going to react to it when I get back. So I think I will be reacting to it when I get back. And as for League Stars, it's going to probably be something similar where I will try to be live by League Start itself, but there is a universe where, or there is a possibility where that is not possible. So we'll play by ear. I think we'll see what we can do. Well, now for my next build, we were PoBing and we're PoBing what's his face, the Ignites AG. This setup is still not filled out, but one thing that I can already tell from trying to ignite skill is it's kind of awkward on minions, simply because I mean you can get the ignite duration low enough that it acts kind of like a bigger damage poison, and so it's like a 1-stack poison that does giga damage. That's a possibility. But good ignite modifiers are hard to find. And with life stacking, this is the problem I'm having with the damage on life stacking. With life stacking, as you can very easily see, we have a lot of increased damage. If we go double rat pith and everything, there's a lot of increased damage. There's also a lot of flat damage coming from like flame link, as well as the axe 1920 is coming from the axe or whatever. I have to manually update it because the axe is inaccurate. When you give the gray wind to your AG, that modifier starts taking the AG into account instead of your life, which is wrong. So you have to comment that out and actually manually calculate it, which is annoying to do. But even with all that flat damage and this huge amount of increased minion damage, the big problem we're running into with this PoB is a lack of minion numbers, and this shouldn't be an issue when it comes to like an ignite setup, because regardless of how many minions you have, ignite should be ignite. But unlike, you know, player ignites, you don't have a skill tree to scale dot multi with like jewels and duration and faster. You don't have that for the AG. You don't have jewelry to try to get some like really nice stats on. You don't have any of that. What do you have access to? You have access to support gems. Support gems, we can have non-val strike skills, you know, attack 2 enemies as well as ignite prolife. So the clear will be there. But the more I look into this setup, the more it just looks like it's going to be an on-hit setup. And like I said earlier, on hits it would be strong, but it also would be kind of boring. I know people have already done on hits. It's kind of, you know, figured out and everything. So I would personally like to be able to go ailment, essentially, is where my mind is at. But it is rough. 1,900% increased ignite damage with 600% more damage coming from support gems and garb and all of these different things, and you still just have a 2 mil damage ignite. It's like, what the hell? And I'm assuming there's just something. Maybe it's the fact that it has no actual base damage and this is the entirety of the base damage, and we're not actually taking advantage of the rage modifier on the gray wind, which is probably a big factor. And we also haven't done everything we need to in terms of config. We just put shock because of the crafts, but we haven't actually applied exposure, we haven't applied scorch, we haven't applied many of the different enemy damage modifiers. But the main reason we haven't done all of that is because we're still sitting at 11.3. So if I take the time to config this PoB and actually fill out everything, including support minions, I don't know that I see enough different multipliers to ignite specifically to get it to a respectable position, if that makes sense. Because again, look at what we have in terms of support specters when it comes to ignite. We have carnage shifting for frenzy charges. More damage is always nice. We have pale seraphim to debuff the enemy, make them take increased damage, not 100% uptime. We have hulking miscreation. Hulking miscreation is actually pretty decent in terms of increased damage, but attack cast speed is more meh when it comes to ignite. We don't actually have anybody that's bringing anger. We don't have anybody that's bringing like we have fire exposure if we go to Kohama Vanguard, to be fair. We do have that at least, but we really don't have much in that vicinity of good support specters from like affliction. We don't have that. And even though minion damage does basically nothing for this setup, we still have to scale it because it's important for the AG to have defenses. Without all those levels, his base life would be like 8k, and his total life like 30 something k, so he wouldn't even have these max hits, which I'm not even a fan of these max hits to begin with. I think he should be tankier, but scaling his survivability is also on the rougher side. Of course, Hallowed Monarch would solve that instantly because with Hallowed Monarch, he now just takes he has a big less damage multiplier on him, or less damage taken. I also don't like his recovery. His recovery could be way better, but it's not. And there isn't much I can do with a life stacking tree unless I want to scale like renewal, which I could. But again, all this to say, it is sure. Let's try something. What can we put on this large cluster to make it so it gets bumped down? I'm guessing Primordial Bond. Not the effect I was hoping for, if I'm being honest. Call to the slaughter, I think should be the ideal candidate. No. Ray still gets pushed. Vicious bites, I doubt. So if there's a suffix, raise and pillage is just going up. So yeah, we want raise and pillage above all also. Anyways, jeez. We got a very, very healthy life pool. 16k is a lot of life to have. Very, very healthy. If you were to send this defensively, it is very sound. I just don't know about offensively. I really just don't know about offensively. All right, let's do this. We'll create an ignite version And this ignite version is going to just sack everything that has to do with on hits to make ignites function, and then we'll see how good it looks. How is that? We're actually going to try to add all the missing pieces and we'll go from there. Well, first things first, what are the missing pieces? Specters are a big part of the missing piece, so we're just going to put raise specter with feeding frenzy as it starts. Doesn't matter where it is, we'll put it in the helmet. You can go combustion as well, just to make sure they have -10 fire res. Is there something for combustion? It doesn't look like there is. We're also going to be using Carnage Chieftain. So who are the specters in question? Miss Perfect, Hulking, Miscreation. Carnage Chieftain. Defensively, I could still go something along the lines of a Warlord. The reason I'd go a Warlord is because I'd want my AG to have the defensive endurance charges. And then let's say Warlord. Why is Warlord there? Perfect. Then not to mention a tiny bit of vitality. Just tiny. Nothing noteworthy. I said Grace Spectre, so perfect Primal Thunderbird as well. So the first one is Miscreation, second one is Carnage, third one is Warlord, fourth one is Thunderbird. This is still the Necromantic Ages setup, by the way. We have flammability. We need a source of awakened fire pen. This applies exposure. Where is exposure? The fuck? Why does exposure not matter? So they have lightning exposure coming from the screed. What does that have to do with anything? Doesn't matter. I'll just give it a minus. Is this baseline for, let's see. Hurricane fire pan. Cool. For some reason now exposure is working, but it wasn't working before. Make it make sense. Anyways, doesn't matter much. Wait, hold up. Why? It actually makes no sense. Why would it work here, but it wouldn't work when I... Anyways, it doesn't matter. I'll just go fire exposure. Can't complain. Since it doesn't want to work, I'm gonna just force it to work. Okay, I'm still max ignite chance with flammability. All right, support specters down. There's no point in scaling life regen if I'm going dissolution of the flesh, if I'm being honest. Only reason I go for it is if I was going for a trial master, which is clearly not the case. I'm trying to avoid trial master, so we can actually cut down on some of these sources. I guess all these sources are kind of valid. Maybe this guy over this one. It's kind of valid though. It's fine. Flame link. Let's give it gloves. Let's give it gloves as well. Let's say boots. But yeah, we still have sockets to spare. I said my priority right now is the ignite's damage. So someone already pointed out my implicit and I am ashamed. What about your implicits? Adds 5 damage with this weapon per turn strength. Because it's not double sent or what? I'm confused. Oh, your main roll is way lower than it should be. Probably half of what it should be. If this is the only source of your flats. For 1,000 strength, you go from, instead of having 200, you go from to having 100 flats. So you just lose like 30% average damage or something. Full 7. Blessed of that shit. Let's look at Ignite DPS, shall we? I mean, Ignite Prolific is just, it's a purely for clear support gem. Realistically, I still wouldn't go Fire Pen, my guy. Why do you keep bothering me? I don't want Fire Pen. I said Ignites damage, did I not? Let's see what he recommends. This shit is just ignoring the Ignite DPS I specified. It just doesn't care. It's still just showing me the overall best. Also, can I just say, if there is an option for combustion now, that would be annoying. Where's combustion? Where is combustion shown? Is it still bugged? Oh my god, it is, isn't it? There was a bug that came with combustion where for minion skills specifically, it wouldn't actually apply or something like that. All right, another one. Ah. Does it show if I go for this Spectre with combustion? Still no. Like, look at its flammability. There's no combustion. There's no exposure. Okay. Yeah, this is ignoring my request of showing, of like just showing the best supports for Ignite DPS. Is all this is telling me. So I will copy this and I will save it in PoB just in case I decide to test the damage difference. .8 versus okay. Also for now I should just do this. Minion damage, I have no doubt, is very big for it. All of these I have no doubt are also very big for it. However, I'm just inclined to believe if I really want, I guess I could see myself going for Ignite Proliv and wanting to swap it out for like a damage gem. So maybe it swaps out for minion damage. Minus 1.7. Minus 2.6, 1.6, 7.8, 2.2, 2.9, 1.7. Yeah, so you are the weakest link when it comes to Ignite's DPS. Is there anything else I can do to help with my Ignite situation? What other multipliers do I have available? We have the 4 specters we're going to use. We have a lot of the life we are going to use. Graphs wise, we can get maybe an old graphs with increased life. 15% increase could be decent. We could potentially go for mirrored rings, which would have double the life but no attack cast speed. Maybe minion damage. But all in all, I don't see that multiplier that I am going to throw on this. Let's try something actually before I say that. Let me just go Cloak of Flame. We max ignite duration. 5.8. Yep, I saw that coming. 7.4. So the ignite duration is definitely not enough to make up for the difference. $7.4 million ignite hits, or ignite DPS rather. I think that's just the cap. To scale it further, I'm going to need stuff like Malevolence, which I guess I could do technically. I could go Malevolence, which would scale my ignites. It's like an extra mil DPS, and if I ever fall below half, then this just goes off, which is fine. What if I did this? When sadism here. .9 ignite DPS 2. So what would be the thing I drop? 2.6, 2.4 minion damage is looking like it's on the chopping block. It can be an ignite prolive situation. I guess it is. Ignite prolive goes off for minion damage, and then we swap that for Zoph's heart. What swaps on Zoph's heart? Fire rest swaps. Physical damage from hits taken as fire damage. Fireborn. Then switch to this. This is because Knight is automatically covering in Ash, right? Yep, 21 mil. Are there any good ignite flasks? Because again, this is all going under the assumption that I am not fully scaling flasks, where I haven't actually taken flasks into account. So if I can get like some good a good flask setup going beside my that reminds me, I should go Legacy of Fury. Nearby enemies are scorched. 50% increased effects of scorch. I think the best thing I saw was the what is a good helmet for fire damage? Nothing that shows up here, that's for sure. So like realistically, what does double Farbon Wrathpit look like? Increase the effect of non-damaging ailments. One thing I would care about is increased dot if I just cared about only the ignites. I have no reason to go for the tree dragons. I have no reason to go for tree dragons simply because I don't have much chaos damage in this setup. If I want to go base fizz and scale it that way, then sure, I could. After it's all said and done, we're still just sitting at 20 something mil. 24. And only 9 of that is ignites. Even if I had to redo the calculation for my health, the damage is not going to change too much. And this is assuming I'm giving them double the increased damage per life, which means 2k increase, which is a stupid amount of increase, by the way. But through all this increase and the damage is still lackluster. Yeah, I think Ignite is just not viable. Because I can't think of a single multiplier I'm not currently taking advantage of. Except like 35-3 clusters only because of the attack cast people. Even then, we don't really want attack speed on Ignite setups. Wait, why is this? Amanamu's gaze is not in here. Why? It should be in there. 26.8 there. So 27 mil with 12 mil being Ignite. Yeah, at least we got to 12 mil Ignite DPS. I'm trying to dot cap on this shit. It's just not. It's not working with me. Onslaught or not, it's not affecting Ignite much. Power charges. I think it might just be a case of get brittle, get power charges, see what happens. Even early builds struggle with Ignite dot cap. Yeah, but the thing is, this is an AG. I'm hoping he has potential. Because like at the end of the day, on hits can go way beyond dot cap. Realistically, like I can get this to way more damage if I just said fuck the Ignites and I just double down on hits. I skill crits, you know, all of that. I could do that. Let me try something. I just want to see some brittle. Did I not select brittle? Or then I go power charges as well. Does critical strike affliction come anywhere up here in terms of DPS? It's there. All right, so if I then switch bone offering to spirit offering, which is a terrible idea, by the way, don't do this on the solution builds. You don't want to do this, but let's just say we did. Now we're at 32.9 dot DPS. Well, 32.9 DPS dot is kind of suffering for it. Yeah, at this point, critical strike affliction is more DPS. Like Ruthless should be on the chopping block soon. I don't like that it's every 3 hits Ruthless really just supercharges the Ignites. When Miles in the other direction, like look at how much damage we are just if I decided to switch from Citizen to increase crits. We gained 3 mil DPS. This one went all the way back to 8. It's only to 27. So we're at 14.5 mil DPS. So if I were to, there is no flash that's saving my situation. That I can tell easily. This doesn't have flask, so let's see. Is there anything here that says ignite or flask? Ignite. I'm looking for flask specifically. Miss me with all of these. Tinctures need not apply. What about fire? Actually, there's an ignite flask. There's a suffix, not flask. Okay. Rings and armies need not apply. Same with belts. Dying Sun, no. Taste of Hate. I don't need Fizz's extra code. Exposure is okay. If I go Malediction, that is increased damage the enemies take as well as curse effect and crit chance. So it's a big damage boost, and I'd be dropping most likely Plague Bringer for it. So let's just say I went Lycia and I went this. Is the enemy on profane ground? Sure. Still just 15.8 mil DPS. And keep in mind, we haven't even actually done the nitty-gritty of the profane ground. Though I guess all it would take is literally just using a flask or a rational doctrine, because we still have more strength than int. And we have profane ground, and we can just drop it. Like, we actually can't do that. It's just we would have to drop like this and go rational doctrine. That's the only change we have to make in order for this to work, which means they'd have if we want to scale crits, that means we also have to do, what was the name of the crit flask? Bottled Fate. Only reason is it has a large AoE. I like the large AoE. If I give my minion the flask, they will get to provide or create consecrated ground, as well as I create desecrated profane ground rather. So there's that at least. But then that means I need to go Timeless Jewel like here with Elegant Hubris. No. Brutal Restraint, Balbala, Agnostic, Flask Charges, something like this. I guess there's one more node that matters, which is Alchemist Genius. So do that. That's even now the uptime isn't the best. But then you go Quartz for the phasing. And then naturally we go Quicksilver because I refuse to be slow. This would give us some pretty decent uptime. Ignore the fact that we're now overcapped on, you know, that. And then we can impossible escape to get this area, I guess, is one way we could do it. Another way would be to use the Stygian Vice I think suffixes can potentially solve that. Potentially. Or is it a prefix? Flash charges gained there. But then I would need to use Sanctuary of Benevolence. So this is a non-solution. And I think at this point my dot multi is falling because Amana Moves is no longer even capped. Crit chance is 50% at this point. But yeah, I don't think this is quite a solution. Anyways, I am tired at this point. So I'm going to switch this back to the Amanamos. I'm going to leave these here for now. Leave the PoB as it is, but this is... It's not that much early or ignites. I would really like the beauty of a setup like this, and the reason why you'd want to do it, and this is the concept behind why I actually want ignite to work, in case you guys don't. The idea here is actually, let me actually show this. The idea here is the AG has, I mean, aside the life stack and all that's jazz, why I want ignite to be a thing is if you give your AG non-val strike skills target to additional enemies, that means each smite hit is going to hit 3 people or 3 areas. That's very good. That's a good, pretty decent wave clear. But if you throw ignite proliferation on top of this, now each of those 3 areas now has an ignite AoE that is spreading. And now you can only imagine how good that would be from a wave clear perspective. Now, of course, we can also just, instead of going for this, we can instead choose to have ignite spread in that same suffix spots or implicit spots instead of the additional, and then just rely entirely on ignite prolif. And if we were able to get ignite to a solid enough space, we might have actually considered doing that. But as it stands, it just makes more sense to go ignite prolif gem and that one, so you can get the best of both worlds. The downside is, you know, you have to put up with ignite prolif or a gem that's only scales 1 instead of both. But yeah, it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. Anyways, thank you guys for stopping by. Appreciate it. I'm gonna be back tomorrow. I don't think my stream is going to be late, but I don't know what my tomorrow is going to look like, so it shouldn't be late, but there's a chance. And if it is, I have no reason not to stream, so I still plan to stream tomorrow. But anyways, I'm gonna keep you guys updated on Discord as usual, but I will most likely be on time tomorrow. But anyways, till then, have a good night.